Hey folks, it's Abby and today I have got a little reading vlog for you. So I started this reading vlog a while back now, before everything went to shit in terms of my life. So it's a little bit of a mess when I'm trying to look back and actually put the footage together. I didn't do an intro, I didn't film one of the things I wanted to film. So, intro. I made in 2021 a video, I think in March 2021, a video of some books that were going to expire if I didn't get to them within the next year. I then went back and had a quick check on the video and realised that there were some that I hadn't read that I didn't want to get rid of just yet. So I thought I would try and sit down and read them. This is that vlog. Now we're on to the actual footage from back in like February, March. Ta-da! So I've made a start on the reading, so I'm going to be reading 50 pages a day roughly of both of them. I should get through Smile is Fair faster than I get through Three Sisters, Three Queens just because of the length of them. But I've finished my first 50 pages of Three Sisters, Three Queens before Smile is Fair. And I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would. When I started reading it, it was like, okay, this is what I expected, like it's a young girl kind of, a young princess, one of the Tudor princesses, aiming to just be married off, and she's kind of been manipulated into wanting that environment. And it's actually a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be, despite the fact that she is so young. I think she's 14 at the point I'm at in the story now. She was 12 when we started. Despite that, she does still have a really good grasp of what's going on around the court, which I do think is pretty realistic. Just if that's her entire life, you're going to have a pretty good grasp of what's going on, but there is also stuff that she doesn't get that still makes sense along with it. I'm enjoying how the relationships are developing already. Obviously this is trying to cover quite a large period of time in the book, so things are moving decently quickly. Obviously 2 years have passed already. And I am enjoying how everything is developing and moving on with her relationship with one of the sisters. So currently we are following Margaret, who is going to be married to the King of Scots. I do not know enough about Tudor history to know if that goes well or not. But we also follow the story of Margaret's younger sister Mary and also Catherine of Aragon, the one who we know is King Henry's first wife, but I already knew, but not everyone knows, actually married King Henry's older brother first. They stated that the marriage was never consummated before Albert died, and that is why she was able to then marry Henry, or Harry as he's actually known. Same as the modern day Prince Harry, his real name is actually Henry. This is a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I'm really glad I'm actually picking it up and getting my ass in gear and reading it. So yeah, historical fiction, not a lot of action so far, but obviously there quite easily could be with how everything goes on, so we'll see. I don't know how far it's going to go, because obviously a lot of you will know the song Divorced, Beheaded, Died, Divorced, Beheaded, Survived. So Catherine should just be divorced, but then like where is she going to go after that? I can't remember where she went. I assume she went back to Spain, but she was very used to England at that point. It would have been years that she'd been in England, years and years. So yeah, I am actually pretty curious about how this is going to go. I was a little bit tempted to read on, but I've left it. We've got to where Margaret has just got to Scotland, so I don't know enough about that side of things. Should be good. And yeah, apparently these are pretty decently historically accurate in terms of like the actual main events. At least obviously you can't extrapolate the individuals, but the main events are accurate, so I am looking forward to learning that and then kind of seeing someone's interpretation of how these women would have acted at the time. So yeah, this has been sat on my TBR since what, 2016? And I would have enjoyed it if I just picked it up. At least I'm enjoying it now. And then Smile is Fair, I have, if I'm remembering correctly, yeah, I've read the prologue and then I'm like 2 pages into chapter 1, so I'm only 13 pages through so far. I hadn't read the synopsis for this again since 2016. So apparently there's a kid that's like destined to be like the devil to his father in some manner, and he's born with like crescent-shaped eyes, crescent-shaped pupils. And his father, because of the prophecy, wants him killed as soon as he's born. His mum is too maternal, so she ends up essentially killing herself through a C-section, kind of in the same sort of medical times as this. So she dies, and he is taken off, and then in the prologue we're told that he's left for dead in the river, because the nurse who helped his mum didn't want to keep him. He would be expensive, he would be a risk, and he is the reason that her mistress, who she so loved, is dead. So yeah, already quite a lot of setup in this short little prologue, so we'll see how that develops as we go today. I am also reading other books at the same time, so we've paused The Count of Monte Cristo, but I am reading I'm a Cat and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I'm really enjoying this right now. So I've already read more than my 50 pages a day with this one, and I am about 15 pages into this one too, so thank you, laptop. So, which is reminding me I should probably get back to work. So yeah, just a wee update. Ah yes, because this is a fantastic way of filming. If you couldn't tell, the light has changed. Let me do something with the blinds. There we go, that's slightly better. So this is not actually a reading update. I just thought it would be fun to do a little update because I got some mail. The first piece of mail no one is going to care about. I got one of those Scrub Daddy dusters that you wet and all the dust just comes off rather than having to try to get it off the cloth. Anyone who dusts will know the pain, and also just I highly recommend, because I've already tested it out. I'm an adult now. I have 4 different types of duster. What the fuck? On a separate note, the actual reason why I turned the camera on is because the wonderful Renee Reeds sent me a book. So she sent me Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first ever Sanderson book that I've owned. First of all, thank you so much, Renee. You are indeed my, what did you call yourself? My Brando Sando disciple. You are indeed. I am so excited to read this. This book follows a world where magic used to be like really proliferant? I've been at work, my mind melted. There was a lot of magic, and shit happened. The magic started to rot and the inhabitants became powerless. Sanderson has a story, like a little analysis which is different to what's on the synopsis, and I like his better. And it's a story of a man who catches a terrible magical disease. He's thrown into Prison City for people who have this disease, and then while he's in there he tries to unravel the world's magic system, which is currently non-functional and breaking, while surviving in these horrific circumstances and trying to bring civilization back into this prison city. Doesn't that sound amazing? So yes, I've never read anything by Sanderson. I know that this book is old, obviously just considering the fact that he is still publishing stuff now. Let's see. I think it was first published in 2011 in the UK is when it was first published. So yes, one of his older ones, and I just really wanted to start with this. I think this is like, obviously everything's intermingled, but I think this is one of his standalones, so it'll really kind of give me a full story arc from Sanderson to enjoy. So yes, thank you so much, Renee. I'm so excited to read this. Not that I needed any more books on my TBR, but we all knew that already. Okay, this is going to be quick because I'm holding this with my hand rather than the tripod, but I did my first 50 or 48 to be accurate, just without the chapters broke down, pages of Smiler's Fair. This is really good so far. I'm enjoying it. There's quite a lot of points of view, I think 5 different points of view, and I'm enjoying kind of getting to explore each of them. We've got someone who was a drunkard and is now sobering and is like a goon for hire. We've got a young kind of like shepherd boy sort of thing. We've got a young girl who's been married off to some lord, and then we've got a whore, and he works in the Smiler's Fair in the city, and there was someone else as well, I think. But yeah, so lots of different points of view, and I'm already really interested to kind of see a lot more about them. Like, I want to know more about every character, so that's really good. I'm really interested in this so far. And now I'm going to go downstairs and have chicken pie and beans, and then read my other books. It is cold, despite the fact that it's really sunny outside, but I have read another 50 pages of Three Sisters, Three Queens. Our little princess queen, Margaret, is so arrogant and self-centered and is only happy when she's better than everyone else, but at the same time I'm invested in her. I want her to be happy. It's interesting. I've seen some people's reviews that they didn't like the book because of how she's portrayed. So I'll have to see kind of how it develops as we go on, because obviously I'm only 100 pages in. But yeah, obviously everything's kind of picking up now. her little sister Mary has kind of been promised to a baby king. But yeah, I really don't know much about the relationship in this time between England and Scotland. So another thing I've learned from reading reviews is that this is all based in Margaret's point of view. We don't follow Mary or Catherine at all, which is a real pity. I think that would have been an amazing kind of avenue to explore. However, I am looking forward to learning more about Scotland and their partnership with England in this time, because ooh, was it tense. So yeah, I've read this one. I've also read a million and one other things today, and now I'm going to read The Smile is Fair and see what I think of that. That's another 50 pages down. Not too much to comment on today. I have a few like interests in different bits. A girl who's just been married off, the husband isn't what you'd expect. It's kind of like medieval times, so you would expect him to have sex with her after the marriage, and he has chosen not to because she's not yet fertile, and he's just like left her be, which is like the opposite of the culture of this place that she's just been married into, so that's really interesting. And our devil boy with the crescent eye has just... I don't know how much I can say without giving spoilers, so let's just not say anything. Okay, so time for an update. Just put my contacts in. So it's been a couple of days. I thought I'd give a reading update while I put my makeup on. So, first of all, I don't want any judgment for how I put my makeup on. I do it very badly. We're just gonna run with that. First discussion. 3 Sisters, 3 Queens by Philippa Gregory. So I have hit page 179, and that is as far as I will be going with that book. I am DNFing it, which is a pity. But essentially, so obviously I wasn't enjoying it, and I read quite a few books that I'm like, you know, mediocre about. Like I like to give them a chance to the end if I can. I prefer to give books like a full shot so that they can redeem themselves if possible. However, I was reading this in the living room next to my partner, who commented on how much it looked like I was not enjoying the book that I was reading. If he can tell I'm not enjoying it, it means it's really damn bad. Because I will suck it up and read through a lot. Not that it's bad, it's not bad, I just wasn't enjoying it. So yeah, as soon as he said I wasn't enjoying it, I was like, okay, cool, that's getting DNF'd then. In terms of the actual book and how that was going before I chose to DNF it, it's really interesting. I'm really interested in the life of Margaret, and I did really enjoy kind of learning more about their actual lives. However, I didn't care for the fictionalizations that Philippa Gregory had done. I really just, I didn't give a damn about how she'd fictionalised them at all in any way, shape, nor form. So instead I'm just going to Google it, and because I am interested, I want to know kind of like what happened to Mary and just like a few more details about Margaret. But yeah, so also it's all written from just Margaret's point of view, and it does get a bit grating after a while. Yeah, it just wasn't the perfect book for me. It's being DNF'd, which is a pity, but I am going to count it in my balancing the books because I've read, you know, a fair portion of it. I read more than 100 pages, and it's now being removed from my TBR. This is a permanent DNF. I am still debating whether I keep it or not because it was from a friend. I'll probably keep it from a bit and then get rid of it. But yeah, so this is going, which is a pity. Like, the research is really well done on it. I need to go get my... haven't put makeup on since I watched it. But yeah, so the research is really well done, like for however much we can know about them. And like they're written really interestingly. She does give them a lot of dimension. I just don't think it's the sort of book that's for me, unfortunately, which is a real pity because I know that Philippa Gregory has a lot of books out in this same thing, in the same realm, so it could have been like a lot of books that I would have enjoyed reading if I'd been able to kind of get into it. But unfortunately I didn't. My TBR is probably pretty happy about that. So yeah, that is DNF'd, which is why it's living on the books I've finished pile over there. So yeah, at least that's done now. At least I gave it a shot. I would have been more mad if I had unhauled it without at least trying to read it. So yeah, at least it's that. Then we have, I told you I do my makeup badly. No, wrong book. Here we go. Then we have Smile is Fair by Rebecca Levine. So I'm still reading that one. I really fucking love it. It's so interesting. I am adoring kind of how Levine has taken a lot of, there's a lot of tribes in this book, and how she's taken a lot of influences from all around the world and kind of combined them all together to create these tribal nations. It makes it really realistic without making it be like a mimic of one nation, one tribe, one area. So I really enjoy that. I'm also really enjoying quite a few of the different perspectives. Some of them are starting to kind of join up and come together, which is really interesting, kind of seeing them unite. And the only bad thing so far about this book is that it's adding more books to my TBR because it's a trilogy and I want to read them. So I picked this up years ago. Fucking years ago, from like a little charity shop where it was like 25 pence, maybe 50p for a book. That basically is the same equivalent as like US cents and European cents. So yeah, like it was cheap as chips, so cheap, and so good. It's so good. It's a really well done adult fantasy. Definitely adult, definitely not YA, but it's so well done. And I checked on Goodreads, it's like 900 people have marked it as read, which is like so low. I am 100% going to be continuing on with the series, 100%, unless like the end is awful. But we'll see what happens kind of when we get around to that bit. It's just so good, it's just so good. So yeah, I'm really enjoying at the minute with those guys, kind of learning more about the world, seeing them all interact, and I'm excited to finish it up and see kind of where we're leaving off for the next book, which I'm going to have to go and find and pick up. So my poor TBR is crying because I'm adding more books to it, but hey. So yeah, one is going really badly and one's going really well. Like, in terms of how well Smile is Fair is, oh god, how well Smile is Fair is going, I have been reading, like I set out for both of them, the 50 pages each day for me to read. And for Three Sisters, Three Queens, I was struggling my way through the 50 pages until I gave up. But for Smile is Fair, I am reading more than the 60 pages. The 50 pages. Last night I'm pretty sure I read like 100. So I'm really enjoying it. Considering how many other books I'm reading right now, like that's a lot. I've got like 5 or 6 books on the go. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying being in the world. I'm going to be reading it, like reading some more of it tonight, obviously. I'm taking a quick break from work right now. I'm using part of my lunch break. So yeah. It's almost knocking on the door. It's the outside of a cushion that we don't have the inside for. Thank you, DFS. Wonderful. We've been waiting for that since October. At least the dude was nice. What was I even saying? I don't know. I can't remember what I was saying. Probably nothing of use. So thank you, DFS man, for interrupting me from a useless babble. So yeah, really enjoying it so far. Very excited to reach the end. There's a lot of, I mean, it's called The Hollow Gods. There's a lot of religious themes which are really interesting to kind of read about in here. There's like, it's giving me some of the tones of various different religions, which is really interesting. At first I had thought that it was like just an allegory for Christianity, but it seems to be a lot more kind of personalised, and like Levine's done a lot more to it. So I wouldn't say that it's a direct allegory for that, which is good because those can, when you pick a specific religion, I think it can, unless you know that religion incredibly well, and unless like each individual reading it is going to take something different from it, so it's a lot better to have it just be kind of like a generalised religion rather than specific. So yeah, all in all, very much enjoying it. Definitely going to have to buy the other books in the series. My TBR is crying. I got rid of 1 book and I'm adding 2 more, but that sounds about right for me. And those were my glasses. Ooh. And yeah, so I've managed to kind of get through the last 2 books that I cared about on that list, and the other ones I've either already read or already on hold or already DNF'd or whatever. I will have to at some point take a look at the video, because obviously I might be forgetting some, but we'll see. Take a look at the video and see what I've actually read from those lists, and see if there is anything I've missed out, and if there is anything that has to be unceremoniously chucked in the bin. I never properly wrapped this up. This is like months after the rest of these clips. This is in May. I think I read them all in March? February? I don't know. What I do know is I have thoughts that I can tell you. So I'm going to go with the book that I DNF'd first, which is Three Sisters, Three Queens by Philippa Gregory. The sisters themselves are fascinating. Margaret's life is fascinating, and I'd love to learn more. I learned a decent bit about Catherine, but I'd love to learn more about Mary. However, I couldn't read past 180 pages. It was really badly written in my own personal tastes. It's all from one point of view. Margaret's whiny as hell, and I just chose instead to just go kind of Google her life and learn about her and her sisters that way, and I got exactly what I would have wanted to get out of this book from that, apart from an emotional connection to the girls, but I wasn't getting that from this book anyway. I don't know if this was just a really bad book for me to start with Philippa Gregory's writing. I don't know, but this was gifted to me by my such a close friend that they are essentially my little sister, so thank you very much. I love you, but I didn't vibe with it. And then Smile is Fair by Rebecca Levine. This is this is obviously historical fiction that is as accurate as possible. This is a adult fantasy book with LGBTQ rep, with PTSD, with different tribes that are clearly inspired from different nations. I loved it. I loved it so much. I quickly snapped up the special edition of the 3rd book, The Sun's Devices, that is currently in here somewhere. I need to reorganise my shelves. But yes, so the signed and numbered Goldsboro edition. I got number 57. I originally got number 34, I think, but it had a big scratch on the front, so I sent that back and got this one instead. A higher number, but no scratch. I don't own the second one yet. I need to buy it. I was just nabbing this up because there's 250 and I wanted to make sure I got one. So just nabbing that whilst I could. Definitely want to get the next book as well, like 100%. So glad I read this. I really like the writing style, I really like the plot development, the character development. Not all of them develop good. Some of them turn into dickheads. Some of them develop, but like not in a way that makes you like them, they're just different. And I love that. I just need my characters to change over time. I can't just read about the same person not changing at all, because no one doesn't change. Anyway, this was really well done. I really enjoyed it, and I am going to leave my full reviews linked in the description down below. I write up reviews of every single book that I read on my blog. They sometimes go up a little bit late, but they are always up. I'm pretty up to date at this point, and so yes, I will leave them down below if you want full thoughts and opinions. But essentially, one was fantastic, and I've already collected at least one book from the series, and one has put me off that author, which is a pity. But I read them. These were the last 2 books that I needed to read off of my, like, they will explode, expire TBR. Obviously this one I should have just let expire, but at least I finally read Smile is Fair. Finally. So I managed it, just about. And now I can look at setting some more books up to expire, because there's some that have been on this TBR for a fair bit. Let's see if I can get to them. Thank you so much for watching, folks. If you'd like to see some more from me and see if I do manage to get through more of my TBR, then please do hit subscribe down below, hit like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.